it's Maggie, Just Enough Eyes. Today I'm going to do a very exciting video giving you an update on my dental journey. So I will link my video down below if you haven't seen it already on my whole life, kind of growing up, why I have missing teeth. I was born without adult teeth, so I had baby teeth there. I didn't have adult teeth, and it's been, 15, 20 years that I just really wanted to get implants. And yeah, so I went through on my other video going through my bone graft surgery last June, which was pretty intense, pretty invasive, really challenging as a surgery, I suppose. So I kind of went through my experience with that. So now it's been a full year since I got that first surgery, and I've just maintained my braces. I still have them on. They had already pulled down the teeth, and I just have the braces to hold my teeth in place until I get the final implants put in. But, I'm fine with the braces. It's just more work brushing my teeth and everything, but they really don't bother me. So for my dental implant surgery, I tried to book it back in February, and when I went to get my x-ray, they did like a 3D scan of my whole head, right, to make sure that the bone was ready, that it had solidified, and from what they saw, it looked pretty good, but he still said like a bit more time might be better, like maybe another month or two, just to make sure. And for me, it's like, okay, this is a lot of money, it's a lot of pain, and for me, like, what's another 2-3 months? It really doesn't matter in the scheme of things. I'm already used to not having teeth there. So we ended up pushing it back from February till April. And then, as you guys know, with what's been going on in the world, my surgery got like canceled or pushed back because no one was doing surgeries at the time, like elective surgeries. So I booked it in June, and I was like, okay, of course I'll be able to do it in June. I booked it like June 15th. Slowly things were opening up again, and I called just to see if they were doing surgeries at the beginning of June, and I've been off work since the middle of March. So I was just thinking, it's better for me to do it earlier in June because I don't know if I'll be going back to work like maybe on the 13th or 14th. Like, I knew I still had a few weeks that I would be off, and it would just be easier for me to do it near the beginning and get it over with. So I called, and they were going to push my surgery back to the end of July. But then they called me back and said there was actually a cancellation 3 days from then, which was last Friday. So I was like, you know what? I will take it. I'm off. It's perfect. I'll have time to recover. I've been healthy, let's do it. So it was a little rushed, but I kind of liked that because if I had more time, like a week leading up to it, I would just be stressing and more nervous. And I wasn't necessarily nervous about the surgery. I was more nervous about all the needles, and that was definitely the most painful part of the bone graft, was getting all the needles like inside your mouth, in the front of your mouth, and I got numb like all the way up to my nose because they were putting the bone graft really high. And I did feel like I got punched in the face really hard that time. Like, it was really intense. My swelling was quite intense for even like 8, 9, 10 days after surgery. It was hard to smile. Even when I went back to work, it was really hard because the stitches, it was hard for me to smile, and I just looked very unsymmetrical for a few days. It was just really challenging. And it wasn't really the time to be wearing masks. Like, now I'm like, okay, well, if I'm swollen, like, everyone's wearing masks, no one would even notice. Yeah, so I pretty much decided to go through with the surgery, and he called me, the surgeon, Dr. Jonathan Adams, in Toronto. So he's phenomenal. He's the one who did my bone graft and was doing the surgery. So he was explaining how it would go. So in my mind, I thought the implants would just be like taking a drill and like putting them up my bone, and that would be it. But it turns out he still would need to cut open the gum to be able to see what was going on and sew it shut afterwards, which I was like, no, I didn't want stitches. I just, going through all that again, I thought would be really tough. And he also warned me that, you know, there's only so much he can see on the x-ray, and once he gets in, once he starts working, he'll be able to see and I guess feel like how strong the bone is, and you know, if it's chipping away, if it's falling apart, if it just isn't enough. He said like I may need to add more bone graft while I'm in there. Worst case, he would do more bone graft and not even do implants. And I was like terrified, like I don't want to keep going through these surgeries. But, you know, I just kept in mind it's been a whole year instead of the recommended like 6 to 9 months. It's been a long time, and the past 3 months I've been like the most relaxed. I've been, you know, exercising, not at the gym, but I've been exercising, taking supplements, multivitamins, eating well. So it's kind of like, if there's a good time, it's now to do this. I'm 28 years old. I'm quite like fit and in shape, so I was like, okay, like let's just fingers crossed. He was just warning me of the worst case scenario. So yeah, I went in for my surgery. I did get the same pills I took last time to help me be relaxed and kind of sedated during the surgery. And I definitely was a lot less anxious this time. I did bring headphones again and just listen to some comedy to slightly like distract myself, but I could still hear him like asking, is this okay? Is the pain all right? How are you doing? Like he was still checking in. And yeah, so I could tell they kind of like cut me open. They started doing the implants, and they kept taking x-rays throughout the surgery, which ended up being 3 hours. So they would do a bit, take an x-ray, check it, do more, take an x-ray on a different angle. So it definitely took a long time, which in my head I thought it should just take half an hour to do implants, but I can see now why it would take time. And they also need to like measure it, space it out, and I don't know, it's just very specific, right? That's why there's so many like doctors I'm working with to make sure everything will be good through the surgery. So he told me like as he was going, everything looks amazing, the implants are going well, and then okay, the implants are in, they're solid, I'm gonna sew you up after these x-rays. And I felt no pain other than the needles. But this time I got needles at the beginning. I got a few needles in the middle, and then he also gave me a few at the end just so it wouldn't wear off and I'd just be in a lot of pain before the pain meds kicked in. So this time I didn't get steroid pills. I think that's what they were called. Like last time, just the surgery was so much more intense and the healing was more intense. So this time I did get my sedative pills for the surgery. I got Advil, I got Tylenol, like those things I just bought over the counter. Then I got a Tylenol 2, I think it's called, with like codeine. So a stronger painkiller that I would take at night, just to help me sleep and to really like knock out pain. And then I got a mouthwash that's, I guess, like antibacterial. You do twice a day to keep the mouth really clean, and to take care of the wounds, I guess. And then I got an antibacterial pill, just to make sure I don't get an infection during the healing process. So the surgery was done. I paid, it was over $4,000. It's usually about $2,000 per implant. And then I also paid to be watched during the sedation, even though I was awake. So yeah, it's very expensive. Implants, bone graft, it did cost a lot, and it's not covered. I don't have benefits, but I also think this would just be cosmetic, so I don't think it would be covered anyways. So I paid, I went home, I was drowsy from the medication, and I took a nap for a while. So initially there was bleeding, not really from the stitches, but from the implants, and mostly the one in the back was bleeding constantly more than the one in the front. So they do give you gauze. He recommended taking 2 pieces, rolling it up, folding it in half, and then biting on it. So it would create like a little cushion that I would fit between the space, and you know, you'd bite down just to like kind of stop the bleeding. And I think that was hard because it's painful. Like you have this fresh wound and it's swollen, it's sore, like it's hard to mentally even just push down on that. So over time, with me biting down on the gauze, like I would change it about every half hour. It did stop bleeding, or it slowed down bleeding quite a bit. And you're not supposed to do gauze overnight. They say like put something on your pillow if you're going to be like sleeping, you might drool a bit of blood, whatever, which I thankfully didn't. But when I looked at my mouth the next day, I got really worried because the first implant in the front I couldn't see. I just saw gums, and then the back there was this bubble of blood, which, sorry, it's a bit gross, but because my skin was like trying to heal, but then it kept bleeding, and then it was healing and bleeding, and just trying to like create a blood clot. So I messaged him, like my surgeon, just to ask, like, is this normal? What I figured with the one in the front is that my gums probably like expanded a lot and swole up a lot, and that's why I couldn't see the one in the front. But the one at the back, I'm like, do I clean this? Like, I don't know what to do. But what I ended up doing is just taking some of the gauze and biting on it a few times, like for the next few hours, and slowly, like, that was letting out some of the blood with the pressure. And then the next day I noticed it was great. The blood had all gone away, it looked clean, I could see both implants again. And I guess my fear was like, where's the implant? Like, did it fall out or something? But you know, I also remembered when I got my tongue pierced, like, your tongue's this big, it swells so much, and they put like a big bar to accept that. So I was just like, I'm sure the gum just expanded as it's healing. So once I got through that like scare of like what is going on, I just didn't know what to expect during the healing. My eating was pretty good as well. The first few days was more like applesauce, yogurt, jello, eggs. Like, I was pretty hungry. I had like just kind of softer foods, and thankfully everything's on the one side, so I would just chew on this side and swallow and kind of have water next to me as I went. And I found it was pretty good. The pain was just so much more mild. Like, I was just so in shock about how little it hurt. Other than when I was like biting on the gauze, I really wouldn't feel the implants. You know, I still have like pain and a bit of pressure up like with the stitches, but the fact that I'm even talking like this and on camera a week after surgery is just crazy. I had no idea that it would go so well. And I'll be getting out the stitches in a week, next Thursday, so I'm just gonna feel so much better once I get those out. They're just kind of annoying in your mouth, but I just feel incredible. And you know, I still had pretty good energy. Like, I did rest and I slept a bit more like the days after, and I just slept on my good side. So now I'm in the healing process. I think around 6 months I have to wait to make sure that the implants are really strong and settled in the bone before they put teeth on. And you know, at first I was like, that's weird, like, just put the teeth on. But now I can totally understand. Like, I don't even think I would want to bite and put any pressure where I just got, you know, metal rods put into the bone, like, you know, and it's just going to be really exciting. So I think I do need to go get measured again, like biting down and getting an imprint of my mouth with the implants so that they can design the 2 teeth. I think one tooth will be a bit smaller and the one at the back will be a bit bigger. We'll probably have to pick like the color. I don't know. It's going to be really exciting. So I'm definitely, you know, I've done my 2 big surgeries. I am so excited. I'm so relieved. I wanted to thank you guys for your support in my first video and just sweet comments and just words of encouragement. Thank you so much, and I hope these videos are helpful if you're just curious, or maybe you have surgeries of this sort coming up and it answers a few questions. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video.